Scott here with 802 Outdoor Adventures. We're in Plymouth today on Buffalo Brook, Rick and I. He's over there. And we're just dubbing around. It was, we live pretty close to here, so it was easy to hike in. I didn't feel like going up on the brook. So we're pretty close to the parking lot. You can see the cabins in the background there, so that gives you reference to where we are. And we're just gonna mess around digging a hole here in a random spot. We didn't really put any thought into this. We just walked up and started digging. Saw a couple of big rocks just under the surface, so we're gonna mess around here for some part of the day. I'm not in it to win it all day today. My back's been bothering me, so I've been taking it easy, trying to. Anyway, we're gonna get at it and see what we can see. I think I'll give you a few tips. I recorded some video up farther on the river of some tips for winter panning, and we'll add that into here, and I'll show you what Rick's wearing. I bought a pair of Cabela's chest waders last year and used them once this year and realized they had a hole in it, so you kind of figure that out real quick when you step in the water and your boot fills up. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's spin the camera around. We'll give you a shot of Rick, and he bought a pair of these things off Amazon. They're insulated chest waders. High C they're called. I think he said he paid $149 for them and then had a $10 off coupon of some sort. But that's the type of thing that I wear also. As far as what I wear under it, nobody likes to talk about their skivvies, but I'll tell you about mine. I wear dual fold thermal underwear. I seem to really like that brand. They're way comfortable. They wick moisture away from your body and keep you nice and warm. And I have a pair for when it's not so cold and a pair when it's really cold, thicker pair. So then I just layer up from there. Nice thick wool socks, because the boots on these things aren't super insulated that well. And we can pretty much stay in the water all day. Gloves are real important. He's got some rubber gloves that go on up above his elbows. I've got some that I bought from Harbor Freight that go all the way to your shoulder, but they're not insulated, so your hands do get really cold. As far as just panning goes, you can pick up these things at any hardware store. I've seen them in Aubuchon's and I've seen them all over, but they're insulated rubber gloves. They work really well for just panning. Key is to stay dry. Once you get wet, well, you know, I don't have to tell you.
Good idea.
You're done.
A size bigger, so you can wear gloves underneath them.
Yeah, Rick said, I don't know if you heard that, he said buy those yellow ones. Where'd you get those, Rick?
Amazon.
Oh, those came off from Amazon also.
$11.99.
$11.99.
Yeah.
And then he wears a pair of sort of insulated gloves underneath them, and that keeps his hands warmer. And then of course anything above the wrist is his sweatshirt and the rest of his clothing is going to insulate him against the cold. For the most part, I think I mentioned it. you're kind of stuck digging within the waterway because everything else is going to freeze. So here we are, we're just picking a random spot here. We do have the reapers running. We have seen a few micro pieces of gold. Nothing big yet, and I don't think we probably will see any big ones here. I don't see anything in mine. Oh, Rick might have a couple in his here. Yep. Trying to get the glare off of it. Anyway, there was a couple of dots in his, so until we start seeing some gold, I'm not going to classify. I'm just sort of taking the hike with every scoop and running it through. As soon as we start seeing some gold, if we start seeing some, we'll go to classifying, but I don't know. This area looks pretty filled in to me. It's going to be a while. What the heck? We're getting exercise, we're having fun, we're outside. Well, here I am. I'm up on Buffalo Brook today, and I'm just going to scratch around. It's cold. It was 24 when I left the house this morning. The wind was just getting it hard, and I know up here this place is pretty sheltered from the wind, and I was right. It is. There's not even a breeze down in here. So I was gonna show you guys a couple of tricks I learned for winter panning. We're gonna keep going on our discussion about winter panning. A couple of things that probably don't need to be mentioned is that the river's slippery, and it's worse now than it is in the summer. You know, I was up in Maine and over New Hampshire. This one doesn't seem to be as bad because I think the water stays a little colder, and there's not a lot of sunshine that gets in here. But man, I've never been in rivers as slippery in the summertime as the Swift and the Wild Ammonoosuc. Those things were treacherous, and this gets to be the same way. Obviously, the water that splashes on the rocks forms ice, and ice is slippery. So, you know, yeah, I mean, that's just common sense. But anyway, there's a couple other things that you got to keep in mind when you do some winter panning, and that is, one of them is there again, the ground's frozen. So you kind of are limited to the waterway. You know, if you see a nice little gravel bar within the banks of the river, that's probably frozen if it's not underwater. So you get real limited. And then as the river freezes, it starts pushing the water around, and the water levels get deeper in the main spots. So it makes it difficult. One thing that you should do if you're planning on doing any winter panning, and you have to plan for it, is find a spot. I mean, I spent the last month and a half out here looking for a place that we can dig for the winter, and I haven't found one as of yet. We still can do some exploring because, as you can probably tell, there's no ice in the river yet. But once the ice starts forming, unless you want to go chopping ice half the time you're out, you're gonna have to do some pre-planning. So that's what we've been trying to do, is find a place to hunker down for the winter. Today I'm not doing that. Today I'm going to I got a little spot that I want to check, that I've had my eye on. I'm all by myself today. That doesn't matter. I wouldn't mind the help digging. But Rick can't make it. Dylan, he's headed out. I won't disclose that just yet. You'll have to stay tuned to Lost Gold Adventures if you want to find out what Dylan's doing. And Tim's up north. I think he'll come down next weekend. I think he's going to help me look for a spot for the winter. Anyway, I'll be back with some other tips. You didn't tune into this video just to hear me yak. So I'm going to get to digging, try to find some gold, and then we'll talk about some other winter panning tips. Okay, my next tip is what to do with your pan, because if it's cold enough, that little bit of water that's in there will freeze, obviously, and then it forms a really slick layer of ice on the bottom, and your gold's just going to slide around. It is virtually impossible to pan gold with ice in your pan. So what I usually do is I find a spot like right here that I can get it full of water. Then I just put a rock in it and I keep it underwater. That keeps it from freezing. And when you're ready to, I got some more digging to do, so I just took a quick test pan. There wasn't anything in it. So when I'm ready to take another test pan, I'll come over, I'll grab it, I'll throw some dirt in it and pan it. Another thing is, if it's cold enough, like I think 25 degrees from what I've found is about my limit. What happens is the water that's in your pan that you're using as you're panning gets all slushy. And I don't like to pan in the colder weather. I'm getting old too. That's beside the point. Always plan on taking your cons home. It's really hard to, when it's that cold, to pan it down to just the gold. So if I do come out and it's below 25, I just do quick pans, pan it down to a reasonable level, and then just haul all the cons out and I'll finish panning it home. It also gives me something to do at home when it's really cold out. And for days like yesterday, when it just rained all day and it was cold and windy and just a nasty day. So that's another tip, and hopefully we'll be back soon with some gold. So I came back to a spot that I haven't been to in like really 5 years, and we did pretty well here. And after the flood, well, it's been over a year and a half ago now, it changed this whole setup. But over time, the river has pulled some of the material out, so I decided I'd give it a shot again. And not bad. 3 little pieces. I got one prior to my other test pan that I didn't show, but hey, I'm gonna stick around here and play a little bit. This is better than what I was getting down below. I didn't get anything down there, so hopefully we'll be back with some more gold.